seriously, though, you're the writer. This activity, this, metaphor sitting among graves, it doesn't strike you as disturbing? No. Without opening my eyes, I knew she'd rolled hers. I love it. It was true. The graveyard was probably my favorite place in Las Cruces. I loved the way it made me feel swallowed up, invisible. I loved the way the tombstones faced the interstate, aligned neatly, like seats in a movie theater. And I liked watching the traffic. Something about it felt sacred. The graveyard was like my church. Or whatever. Anyway, it's not like it was a real graveyard. There were no bodies. It was just a dusty corner of the lot behind Sid's, where her dad, Ray, had dumped tombstones that had gone unpaid for, or that he'd screwed up. "I rejoice in thy salivation," read one slab of marble. "Rest in Piece," read another. Ray hadn't lasted long in the tombstone business. After a year, he sold his tools and went back to bartending, and Sid and I took over the graveyard. Manuel P. Montoya, Eternally Restful, was my favorite. A black slab of granite with a pair of marble hands clasped in prayer rising from the top. Manny died at 101. I thought of his tombstone as a trophy he'd won for living so long. There was a space the shape of my butt worn into the earth beneath it. So great was my devotion to him. Of course, it was too bad Manny's family wasn't able to pay for the tombstone. And so it ended up here, behind Ray's double-wide. Forever separated from Manny's actual eternally restful remains in the San Albino Cemetery a mile away. Ray was such a loser. "I'm not running a charity here, ma'am," we'd once heard him say on the phone to some grieving widow while we were watching TV. "Asshole," Sid mouthed, grabbing the remote and cranking the TV up so loud that Ray, scowling under his cowboy hat, had to take the conversation outside. Of course, we didn't know it then, but those were actually the good old days. The days before Tanya moved in, when Ray was mostly just gone, and we had full reign of the trailer and the acre of dust and junk. Each pile of crap further evidence of Ray's lifelong love affair with failure. Piles of car parts, a shed full of rotted firewood, a broken-down stable for a horse-breeding business that never materialized beyond one vial of sperm he'd kept in the freezer for over a year. Now he was the assistant manager at Desperados, a bar in a strip mall between a nail place and a tanning salon. The polos Ray wore to work boasted that Desperados was the hottest spot in Las Cruces. Who'd judged it thus remained uncertain. Sid called it desperate a-holes. They make porn in Las Cruces, I bet. I bet I could be starring in my own porn by 8 o'clock tonight if I wanted to, right? "Let's just be quiet for 2 seconds, I said. When she was actually quiet for 2 seconds, I became suspicious, and I opened my eyes to find her leaning sideways against the grave next to mine. Isadora Thorne, beloved sister and aunt. She was staring at me, her arms wrapped around her knees. "What?" I said. "Nothing," she said. "I'm just being quiet. I'm just sitting here, very quietly, coming up with my porn name." She put her finger in the air. "Misty Buckets. That's it. Yes. That's who I am now." "Stop!" I sat up straight and turned to face her squarely. "Stanford's gonna write. It's gonna happen. And you're gonna get in. And if you don't get into Stanford, you're going to get in somewhere even better, with misty buckets full of financial aid, and you're gonna get out of here, and it's gonna be great, and someday you'll fly your private helicopter jet over this shithole of a town and laugh and laugh and laugh."